Today we're going to talk a little bit about the fall of man and original sin. When I was a kid, I always was a little perplexed when hearing the story of Adam and Eve and the apple and all that kind of stuff, because it sounded a little bit weird that God was so mad about them eating this apple. Almost like when your dad gets a little bit too mad. Like for me, my kids, once in a while, probably more than I wish, but I'll flip out about something that's stupid. They're like, Dad, you don't need to yell at me so much about being up here upstairs with my shoes on or something, But it kind of seemed like that with God in in the fall. Just this thing that like he went a little overboard, that they ate an apple. Like, does he just not like apples, or what? What's going on? But the reality of the situation is, it's not that they took an apple from the forbidden tree. It's that God offered to be their God, and they chose to be their own. He wanted to provide for them, but they chose to take instead of receive. He offers them eternity, and they choose to live for the moment. So what does original sin do? Like this sin that was committed by our parents, the fall of man. Is it just something that we lament over, this one-time thing, or is it something that continues? Unfortunately, the effects of original sin continue in our life today. We have this thing called concupiscence, which basically means we're inclined to sin. In cartoons we see it as there's a big red button that says "Do not touch," and that's the thing we want to touch. That's kind of how we are with sin ever since the fall. It's part of us, unfortunately. The other thing that it does is it distorts three relationships. It distorts our relationship with ourselves. It's now riddled with guilt and shame and unknowing of who we are. It distorts our relationship with others, oftentimes by lies and lack of charity. And last, it distorts our relationship with God, where so often we don't see who God is. We hold him at length, and our sin gets in the way of the two of us. So why do we mention any of this in an Advent video? Well, the reality is we have something that we have to look forward to in Christmas. And it's not just presents, it's not just the carols and the eggnog and that kind of thing. If you ever listen before an Easter vigil, they sing, the deacon sings this prayer called the Exultant. And they say in there, "Oh, happy fault." Sometime the saints said, "Fortunate fall, that won for us so great a Redeemer." The beauty of the fall is that because of the fall, we have Jesus. Jesus comes to us, and he comes to us as a Savior who wants to save us from this muck that we get stuck in so often. So that's what we have to rejoice. That's what we have to long for, to yearn for, and to look forward to in Christmas. So I pray that today you could find some of that yearning and find some of that joy in looking forward to the Savior that has come from the fall.